Hey creative friends, welcome to Tracy Bautista Color. This is Tracy, and today I wanted to just kind of do a few flip throughs. I've been playing and experimenting with my new pigment bars on various substrates, and this is something I do with all the products that I design, but I wanted to kind of show you some of the experiments and some of the things that I'm loving about working with them. So these are wax paints in a bar format. So you can draw with the bar. You can also use drying oils like linseed or walnut oil or lavender spike oil oh, this is the brush cleaner. I think I left my spike oil in the other room. But Chelsea Classical Studio makes some great mediums that you can mix with them to really enhance and create different kinds of washes and glazes. But you can also use them with a variety of my products, my inks, my pigment stones, and lots of different pencils. So you'll notice that inside here in some of these pages I've done some mark making. So those are with various pencils. I love the Carbon Sketch pencil by Generals. Some different colored pencils, the Derwent Chroma Flow. I even have what's this one? Oh, this is a Crayola. This is one of their metallic ones, which actually works really nice too inside there. The Derwent Inktense pencils. I love the pastel pencils, work really good. Any kind of pencil that you can make some fine marks works great inside here. But I was just playing with mark making, some landscapes, some abstract botanicals. I really love what you can do when you scrape into the paints. This is in a Hahnemühle sketch and note journal. So there's a couple of ways that you can set them. You can use something like a Spectrafix fixative, which you need a few layers, so you have to spray, then let it dry, then spray again, then let it dry, and that helps it become pretty close to dry. But I actually love using matte medium over the top, either super matte medium or matte medium. Matte medium is going to give you a nice matte finish. The super matte medium is great if you want to continue to layer them because it has a really beautiful texture. Here's some more of the pigment bars with various scraping, some sgraffito with a couple of different tools and some other pencils, and working with the pigment bars with my stencils. These are my Stencil Girl stencils. And then just doing some abstract mark making with the pigment bars, some of my pigment stones. I believe there's a YouTube video that shows this. And then layering them over my watercolors, my handmade watercolors. They really make great accents to all the products that I design. So again, I test in various notebooks. I put pieces of parchment paper in between just so that the wax doesn't get onto the other pages. So that's an option. And this I wanted to show you. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it in the camera, but if you look closely, there is, you can kind of see the lines from the brushwork, but underneath this is, on this side, it's Super Matte Medium by Golden, and then on this side, it is the Pastel Ground by Golden. And so this is Super Matte Medium, and then this is the Pastel Ground. So the Pastel Ground is also a textured acrylic primer, but you can water it down, and actually it's recommended that you do. I think it's between 20 and 40%. And so I just kind of eyeball it. I put distilled water and mixed distilled water with just a little bit in a smaller container so I can use it just for a few pages. And I found that I love the pastel ground underneath. It makes the colors just much more vibrant over the texture. And you can see a little, let me see if there's a big difference. I tried to do the same marks on each side, But even with the super matte medium, it still works really well, but there is a slight difference with, because the pastel ground is a lot more textured. So I really love the deep marks you can get. See, it's pretty good here, but with the pastel ground, it really makes a difference. So those were some of the experiments. I wanted to do them side by side just to see. And then I did some also, and this is in a moleskin, I think it's a moleskin sketchbook. Yeah. And then here I did side by side with, I think that is let me look at it. Half of the page has the pastel ground and the other half doesn't. So you can really see the difference in this side doesn't have anything on it versus the pastel ground. And same with this. This is a nothing underneath, and then that's the same colors. So let's see if I bring this a little closer, you can see the difference. So I really recommend using that textured medium underneath if you're going to use paper that doesn't have any kind of texture on it. So I'm going to show you in a minute another paper that has texture on it, but you can see that the thing with the pastel ground is that it has a little bit of a tint. It's kind of like a ecru kind of color, but it's going to get covered for the most part if you're covering the entire page. So if you don't like that, then I would go with super matte medium, because it is textured and maybe a couple of coats of that, and it's completely transparent. And so here, just more mark making with my watercolors, some of the pigment bars, and you can do some really fun transfers with them. So some printmaking. So all of these mark making pieces right here are done by, I just colored the bars right onto a piece of parchment paper and then did a little bit of doodling onto the page. So that's on the Strathmore Mixed Media journal. This is the like student grade paper, which you can find this if you're in the States at Target, that particular journal. And then here's a Canson drawing journal, and this has cream colored paper in it. So let's see, this has nothing underneath it, and it still looks pretty good. I used some of my pigment stones on there, and then a bunch of different colored pencils, just with the lines and the mark making there, if you can see that really closely. I really love when you use Sgraffito and you scratch through the marks or the color, because you can reveal the layers underneath. So here is another swatch page. So I've used some of my pigment bars, some of my pigment stones, which are more like a soft pastel, so they kind of pop a little bit more. And then some graphite, some of the carbon, this is that carbon pencil, and some other various mark making tools. But this had nothing underneath it either. There was nothing underneath there. So you can see it's still really vibrant without any texture, but I feel like it does do when you have that texture. So this page, you can see the difference. It kind of has this like tint to it. That has the pastel ground in it. And then, yeah, just a lot more playing and mark making. I'm just trying to see how they work by themselves or on top of my other products. So this is the Canson Dry Media Sand Grain paper, and it's not really sand paper, but it has a texture. It's highly textured. So it is an interesting background for the pigment bars, but you can see it does create like really nice, vibrant color over it, but you definitely get to see the texture of the paper when you use something like this. Same with like the Canson Mitantes. Let's see, I think I did a little mark making on one of these. Yeah, I was just kind of playing with the color. I didn't really like it on this side. Maybe if I try it on the back side. So I started kind of playing and coloring. There's less texture on the back side, so you see a little bit of a different texture there. So that one wasn't my favorite. The one that I am loving the most is the Pastel Matte by Clairefontaine. And it is so vibrant. You don't need to put anything at the bottom. And I just did a bunch of swatches with a bunch of my pigment bars and then some of my pigment stones. So this row is pigment stone, so you can see it's more like a soft pastel. And then these are the pigment bars, which is more like an oil pastel. But some of the colors, a couple of the colors have oil in them, but the rest of them are purely wax. And so you can really see the difference, how vibrant the color is. I really love working on this paper. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's really a fun background for the pigment bars. So some of this down here, this is the holiday. These are swatches from the holiday collection. And then these are swatches from the fall and Forever Chasing Sunsets collections up here. And then these are the pigment stones, which are my water-soluble pastel / watercolor. It's like doubles in 3 different products, creamy crayon, depending on how you use it. So those are the experiments so far with some of the papers, but I really love the Pastel Matte, and then also using the golden pastel ground. So on this side, did I put anything? No, this is empty. This has pastel ground, and then did I put no, I thought that I put I guess I didn't. I thought that I put the super matte medium on here, which that's what I'll do on this one. So I'm going to do a little swatching video in my next video just to show you. I'll do side-by-side comparisons so you can see without and with, and this is going to be in the mixed media, Strathmore Mixed Media 400 series journal. So I hope you enjoyed a look into how the pigment bars look and just get an idea of what you can do with them using various papers. So I encourage you to take some time to create a couple of swatch pages and write notes about what you enjoy working with them, different types of media that you can mix with them and lay on top of them. Really have fun experimenting and playing. Thanks for watching.